Okay, thank you for tuning in, Honorable Men Discord. I'm live from the location where, unfortunately, the CEO of United Health was murdered. This is the location. I believe that's probably the camera that's behind me. This is the exact location where he was walking when Luigi Mangione decided to surprise him from behind and shoot him. You see the awning for the Hilton. But we're going to talk about this. I'm calling him the infamous, and it's for a very good reason. But stay tuned. So as we continue, I'm not in my car yet, and I decided to stop off at the location where Luigi stayed at, which is on the Upper West Side, West 104th Street. Behind me, you can see the hostel he stayed at. It's the High Hostel. And this is the location that he checked in allegedly on November 24th. So he stayed here, and according to the police report, he continued to extend his stay until that morning of December 4th. So this is the hostel he stayed at, the High Hostel on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. So let's get into it. Luigi Mangione arrived in New York on November 24th at Port Authority. He checked into an Upper West Side hostel, extended his stay multiple times until December 4th. On December 4th, he left the hostel early in the morning, sometime after 5 a.m. When he arrived in Manhattan at the destination, he basically hung out there until the time when Brian Thompson was on his way to the conference. After that, he committed the act, allegedly, hopped on a city bike, rode to Central Park, got rid of his backpack, and then made his way to a bus terminal near the George Washington Bridge, at which some point he was later found in Pennsylvania at a McDonald's, and that was on December 10th. And he was spotted by a McDonald's employee, and that employee notified the authorities, and he was apprehended. Now, yesterday, December 19th, he was extradited back to New York City from Pennsylvania. He arrived in Long Island by airplane and was transported from Long Island to Manhattan by helicopter. A Wall Street helipad by helicopter. So what I really wanted to dive into was just my thoughts on this whole thing, because this is an Ivy League student who comes from an affluent family from Baltimore, Maryland. And someone that intelligent, there's like a barometer. There's a barometer in life held for people with high intelligence. And oftentimes, people with high intelligence is looked at as the goal, the end goal, or something to strive for. As we go through education in school, we're told to strive for the best grades. But what does all that mean? And by no means am I saying go out there and not do your best. I'm not telling you to go out there and not study. But when someone with that type of IQ commits this type of crime, I think it's something to really dive into and discuss. And that's the reason why I decided to name this the infamous. Because this case may be the largest case that in my lifetime I've ever experienced, outside of the OJ case. When he was brought into Manhattan yesterday, if you saw the news feeds, you would have thought he was a cartel leader by the amount of authorities that were surrounded by him. You know, you had the mayor out there, Mayor Adams was out there upon his arrival, and a slew of law enforcement was out there. And all of this for a 26-year-old who was walking with leg shackles and his wrist shackled. His wrist was cuffed. So, you know, it's clear that law enforcement wanted to make an example in case any would-be copycats came out of the woodwork. You want to make sure people know, listen, don't even think about trying something like this. So I think that point was made clear, in my opinion. But what I want to talk about is that barometer that we live by of intelligence. So yes, this is about Luigi, but it's just something to think about in terms of intelligence. Because once again, this is an Ivy League young man. And most crimes committed in New York City are by individuals with a low IQ. That's just the reality of it. Most of the murders that are committed in New York City are by low IQ criminals. But here we have someone who's not a resident of New York City, planned to come out here just to execute a murder, allegedly. And he was successful in doing so. But what would make someone of that IQ come to the resolution that that was the best thing to do? And that's what I want to dive into. All right, so I just want to go into a few facts and fallacies in regards to intelligence. Now, if you disagree, feel free to leave a comment as to why you disagree. But I just want to go through this as we continue to dive into this infamous discussion. So, in terms of intelligence, it's safe to say with intelligence, that person is knowledgeable about something. So with intelligence, that person is knowledgeable about something. That's how the barometer is set. What is that something? It depends on the person, on the individual. So with intelligence, that person's knowledgeable about something. As far as Luigi's concerned, his background was with computers, if I'm not mistaken, right? Also, what comes with intelligence is knowing that that person is able to comprehend on a high level. They comprehend information. In addition to comprehending information on a high level, their retention ability is high to retain information. So not only does someone with high intelligence comprehend well, their ability to receive the information and retain it is on a high level. We're talking about doctors. We're talking about professors. We're talking about scientists, so on and so forth. Any position or field you can think of high intelligence, that's what we're talking about. And it seems as though Luigi was capable of excelling in anything of that capacity, right? But he's human, as we all are. He had an injury that didn't come out. The reason he got injured was never disclosed, at least not yet. But that injury triggered something inside of Luigi, which caused him to just redirect his energy towards the healthcare system. All right. Let me park this car. Oh my God. All right. So yeah, let's talk intelligence. So with intelligence comes someone with knowledge and the ability to comprehend and the ability to retain the information that they learned. This is a fact, right? This is not me making this up. If you disagree, as I said before, please leave a comment as to why you disagree. Now, this is a barometer that we all strive for in terms of education, in terms of the work field. The more you know in the work field, the more you advanced, right? So those are facts. Intelligence breeds someone who has a knowledge of something, a vast knowledge of something. They have an ability to comprehend at a high level, and their retention is at a high level. High level. Whereas someone with a low IQ usually doesn't have knowledge of a lot of things. Their comprehension ability is low, and their retention is also low. So just keep that in mind. So those are facts. The fallacy about intellectuals and intelligence is that it breeds better choices. That's a fallacy. All right. So intelligence, the fallacy with intelligence is that it breeds better choices. Another fallacy, and you're welcome to disagree me, is that someone with high intelligence is a model citizen. Okay? Another fallacy is that someone with high intelligence has manners. Another fallacy, someone with high intelligence, high IQ, has great social skills. Right? Sometimes we believe that someone with high intelligence is trustworthy. And the last thing that I jotted down as far as a fallacy is that someone with high intelligence is godlike. The overall picture and the overall thought that I want to leave everyone with is just consider the fact that we're all human beings and we're all capable of making mistakes. And, you know, I guess for some, they might feel like that's self-explanatory, but that's often not covered in social media. We live in a world where the poor on social media want to portray an image of wealth, and the wealthy want to portray an image of happiness and success and of being perfect. Now, they may not outwardly say they feel like they're perfect or better than, but that's the society we live in. And so I feel like this whole case with Luigi is a case study on humanity, that no matter where you come from, where your what your background is, you're capable of making a mistake, and you're capable of making huge mistakes. In this situation, I'm not even sure if Luigi considers this a mistake, because he actually planned this out. You know, I found myself thinking that maybe this was just a situation where he had a breakdown, a mental breakdown. I don't know. Is it still possible that it's partially a mental breakdown? I don't know. I don't know if I can categorize this as a breakdown, especially when he planned it out. He has manifestos that were written down about his displeasure with the healthcare system. So I don't know if I could categorize this as a breakdown. I really don't know. This is very interesting, and I want everyone to stay tuned for the part 2 as more details about this matter continues to unfold. I will continue to report, and I just want everybody to just think about those things I mentioned about the fallacies and the facts about one with intelligence. And what does it all mean? What does the big picture of this all mean? Because the majority of New Yorkers as a whole may not have the intelligence that Luigi has. They may not have the IQ that Luigi has. And they're not finding themselves in these type of situations with all the pressures of living in a city like New York. The majority of New Yorkers are not finding themselves in situations like this as a means to an end, right? So just consider that and stay tuned. Thank you for watching.